So in keeping with this theme this month of deep listening, let's start with some deep listening, because Stella Young also said disabled people are experts in their own experiences, and it's important to listen to what they have to say. So I was hoping that we could get our friend Gilly to come on up here today, and we're going to have him sit down over here for comfort. I've got the right height for you here, Gilly.
Good morning, congregation.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm probably a real tough act. First of all, there are many talking points here. First of all, I want to explain about my school years. The Special Educational Act didn't pass until the 1970s. My school years were the 1950s and 60s. Now, I went all through those years in elementary school, even my teen years. Now, thanks to special education, when you reach your teen years, you are placed in high school. Employment. I left school and wanted to work. I got a few jobs, but I faced a lot of discrimination. Two examples. I remember walking into a program called CEDAR, and it was this lady that was supposed to take down information to decide whether you qualified and if so, what job you would get. And she said, talk about blatant bigotry. She said, I'll be perfectly frank. There are jobs available, but you're not going to get one. Now, with ADA, that cannot happen, which stands for the Americans with Disability Act. Then there was other situations where I walked in the office and somebody would say, what is he doing here? And I did get work. I did janitor. I was a custodian. I worked in factories, and I worked in a library. So I got work after facing a great deal of discrimination. Next is housing. I left my father's house and went into assisted living. Then it became unaffordable. So I went to low-income senior housing. Then, unfortunately, one night I was coming home from a donut shop, and it was my fault. I wasn't alert, and I got hit by a car. I broke my right leg and ankle. Then I went into a nursing home for rehabilitation, and recovered, and now I can walk with a cane. And then after I was hit by the car, I was rushed to Rhode Island Hospital. St. Luke's Hospital did not have a trauma unit. When I was when I was being rushed, I was told, you're going to Rhode Island Hospital. I said, why? They said, because they have a good trauma unit. Now I live in a group home, and it's wonderful. I volunteer twice a week. The staff does their best to get me to my volunteer opportunity. I bring me to the library. I go there and read for an hour and a half or so. Then I bring the book home and finish it. So I get out in the community, thanks to people like Ernest and other support staff that really cares. The challenges and lessons. My greatest challenges was coping with loneliness and overprotective parents and isolation. And there were places where people with disabilities were not welcome. Insults and injury. Insults like he's not dealing with a full deck, or he doesn't have his own marbles, or because of the way I walked, I was called a cripple. And now quotes. One by Ellen Keller, and I'll go slow. Only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Ellen Keller. Karen's father. You'll never be as smart as you thought you were at 17. And at 17, I started to question a lot of things too. And then when I think of my challenges, I often say nobody cares until it hits home. And an example of that, I was lonely and isolated. Then years later, 2019, 2020, what happened? We had COVID, and people were stuck in, and they were isolated and lonely because of the virus. So that's why I say no one cares until it hits home. And lastly, what do I want the congregation to take from this presentation? Is through enlightenment there is understanding. Thank you very much.